or until the rain. Both would agree that it's the second rain. First rain, not the second rain, yes. The third rain, that's already he's already permitted, right? Because he took the vow until the rain.
What is the difference between the time of the rain and the rain?
The time of the rain means that it's supposed to rain every year this time. You know, whenever the winter starts or whatever. Here we're going to have some dates for that when it's supposed to rain. But the actual rain means that it actually did rain. Doesn't mean that it rains on time, right? Okay. Amar Rav Zera. Rav Zera says machlekes tamar ada geshamim. Machlekes between if it's between Rav Shimon ben Gamliel and Tanakama, if when he says until the rain, if he means until the actual rain or until the time of the rain, that's when he says until the rain. The rains, ada geshamim, until the rains, plural. Aval amar ada geshem. But if he says until the rain, ad zman geshem kamer, then everyone would agree it's only until the time of the rain.
Oh.
That means Tanakama would agree to Reb Shimon ben Gamliel. Yeah. The Ran over here explains that normally we would say the phrase we used before in the Machlekes Reb Meir and Reb Yossi, "Machas inish nafshei l'sveika." Person does not say something that's ambiguous. So he probably means what's clear. So when he says until the rain, since there is no set time for the actual rain to come, there's only a time for the rain, but when it's actually coming, that is unknown. So that's considered something she'ein zmanik kavua. Then he probably meant the set time, which would mean the time of the rain and not the actual rain.
I mean the time the rain was expected.
The expected time. The expected time is probably what he meant, because that's the only thing that he can have clear.
Right.
He wouldn't have said something that would be ambiguous. So why, when it says Ada Geshamim, is there a machlekes, but the Tanakhama says has to be the actual rain. So the Tanakhama says, why do you add Geshamim? Could have said Geshem.
Yeah.
We're saying he must be saying something extra. He must mean until the actual rain. And Rav Shimon ben Gamliel says that it's the same thing. Geshamim and Geshem is the same thing. The person wouldn't put himself into that doubt. That's how the Ran explains this. Now the Ran has an interesting question. The Ran brings rayas, proofs, here and there. Talks about if someone takes a vow about he's not going to do something until his son's wedding, and since he's able to postpone the wedding, there's a discussion if that's considered a set time or not. We mentioned once before.
Why didn't they bring this logic when someone is ambiguous? Like what I'm trying to say is like they're not ambiguous. Someone always has in mind what they're really talking about. Before, when we're talking about someone's talking about the grape harvest or the olive harvest, grain harvest, etc., we know what they mean, or at least they know what they're talking about.
So the Ran now asks that what's the difference between this and the harvest?
Oh.
Very good. By the harvest,
What's the logic of not explaining is in its plain meaning, rain versus rains? Plural. But in other words, why not
the
just
fact that
interpret it as plural?
the fact that he's making it into a plural is saying that he's adding something extra. What is he adding extra? He's saying until the actual rain. So the rain.
One is the expected and the other is
And
actual.
one would be just the expected, right? And both of them could mean the expected, but because he said more than what he needed to, so we were saying that that's considered, that we're going to view it that he meant the actual rain. Now the problem is that when we said the harvest, we didn't say that it's the time of the harvest. We said that it's the actual harvest. If people harvest at different times or something, there should be an expected time of the harvest, and that's when.
We said that they were both the same.
Oh, so 1 second. So that the Ran
We said
explains
everyone
like this.
harvests at the same time.
The Ran says that actually they harvest at different times, but each area harvests at its time.
Uh-huh.
So there is really a set time. It is really a set time for the harvest. He doesn't say it like that. He says, by the rain, we know what time it's supposed to come. We know what day the rain is supposed to come. That's the day on the calendar. The harvest, we don't have the day on the calendar. And so therefore, we have to go after, this is what the Ran says, we have to go after the actual harvest. Because we don't have it on the calendar.
What are these called? Communals, like communal agriculture.
Right.
Yeah, it's very popular.
I'm sure there were
So
places where they did have it on the calendar. I think in Egypt, the river would overflow, the Nile would overflow, and exactly like July 3rd, I think every year or something, it would overflow. They had it on the calendar when it would overflow. And
So just snow from up.
yeah, it was the rain and snow from that would come down from the mountains,
The harvest would vary like
based on where they were on the. And that doesn't seem so. Sorry, it seems the rain was set no matter where they were. That's what we'll see now. Okay, there is another pshat here. The other pshat says that when it's saying, when Reb Zera says machlekes ada geshamim, that there's a difference between if he says geshamim or geshem. If he says ada geshem, then the same machlekes applies. Is it until the rain, or is it until the expected time of the rain? But so what is Reb Zera saying? He's saying that it's not the second rain, but it's the first rain. Totally other pshat, totally different pshat. I don't know if you have that in the notes. Do they bring that in the notes? No. There's another pshat. The Ran doesn't say it right here. He says it later at the end of the discussion. We'll see soon. Meisvei, Kumar has a question. Eitzuz mana shel Revia. When is the time of the rain? Well, Habechira, the early rain, Begimel, on the 3rd. Talking about Mar Cheshvan, the 3rd of Cheshvan. Beinanes, the middle rain, which is the second rain, Beshiva, on the 7th of Cheshvan. That's why we would say in Israel, we say the same Talamata or the Bracha on the 7th of Cheshvan. Right? And Afela, the late rain, is Besim B'Shleisha, is on the 23rd of Cheshvan. So there's 3 rains. Reb Meir, that's what Reb Meir says. Rabbi Yehuda says, Beshiva Aser, Besim B'Shleisha. It's either the 7th, the first one is the 7th, second one is the 17th, and the last one is the 23rd. And Rabbi Yossi Aimer, it's a third opinion here. B'Shiva Asar, the rain is supposed to come on the 17th, Besim B'Shleisha on the 23rd, B'Chedesh Kislev, and the third rain comes in the month of Kislev, B'Chedesh Kislev. You see, they're discussing over here how to make rules and then how to make, and what are the exceptions. It probably didn't rain every time exactly. They said, oh, this is the rule. Another one said, no, this is the rule and that's the exception, you know. Very nice. V'chein haya Rabbi Yossi Aimer. Rabbi Yossi would say, Ein hayechidim misanim ad shegirish chedesh kislev. By the third rain, if it doesn't rain by the third time, so then the yechidim, which means the Talmidei Chachamim, would make a fast day. Sages would fast. That was the first of the fast, and that would be Rosh Chodesh Kislev. That's Rabbi Yossi's view. V'amrinan Allah, and we said regarding this, we understand why we had to hear about what's the time of the first rain, Lishal, because in the first rain, they would already start to say, saying Talamat Levracha. Okay. Shlishis, why do they have to tell us the third rain? What's the halachic significance of the third rain? It says, Lesanes. That's to fast, because that's when they would start to fast. Elishni elamai. But what halachic significance is there of the second rain? What's the question? What's the problem?
Well, on this page, we're talking about Geshamim is meaning multiple rains.
Right.
And on the previous page, that was a silly way to think. He really was talking about calendar versus actual.
Right.
So why wasn't the same common sense application of the word used?
So the Gemara answers, it's coming to tell us about someone that took a vow. That someone that took a vow, he's referring to the second rain, not to the first rain, not to the third rain. It's referring to the second. So we have a halachic significance for each of these rains. First rain was when to say.
Ridiculous, so ridiculous. That I
No.
can't
So
show
we have the first one was for V'sein Talamata.
Any questions?
First one is V'sein Talamata. Thank you. The second one is for the vow, and the third one is for the fasting. Okay, so now we have a significance for all three. Now, if you wanted to learn this Gemara, like the second pshat in the Ran, then we would say in that pshat that the Ran rejects, but he says, "But abalad geshamim adzman geshamim kamar," until the time of the rain means the first rain. Now we would have a question here, because we see the second rain. We see it's the second rain. So we're going to have to answer that. But the original way that we learned this Gemara was that we said if he says Ada Geshem, then that would only mean until the time of if he says Ada Geshamim, then it's not the time of the rain. It's the actual rain according to the Tanakama. Okay, now Vamrina Nala Kaman Asla Tanya. We said on this, according to whom does it go? The statement of Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, the Tanya was started in a brayso. Reb Shimon ben Gamliel Aimer Geshamim Shiyardu Shiva Yamim Zachazat Tamayna Bem Revia Rishayna Vishnia. That if it rains for 7 days, I can get out of that one rain, the first rain and the second rain. Now, which opinion would that fit with? Well, according to the Reb Meir, the first rain was on the 3rd, and the second rain was on the 7th. So it wouldn't need to rain for 7 days. It would need to rain for 4 or 5 days. According to Rabbi Yehuda, it would need to rain for 10 days. The first one was on the 7th, and the second one was the 17th. According to Rabbi Yosi, the first one was on the 17th, and the second one was on the 23rd. So if you count both days, that's 7 days, right? If you count the 17th and the 23rd, that's 7. So who does it go like? Come on, who does it go like? Rabbi Yosi. Goes like Rabbi Yosi. Okay, now where we're left right now is that first of all, according to Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, this whole thing is not significant. Because why does it need to rain for 7 days? According to Reb Shimon ben Gamliel, I only need the time of the rain. Because Reb Shimon ben Gamliel's view was just the time. It was only the Tanakama that said I need actual rain. So why does Reb Shimon ben Gamliel have to tell me that it has to rain for 7 days to get both rains out of it? It doesn't have to rain at all to get the rain, to get the halachic significance. So obviously Reb Shimon ben Gamliel is referring to the Tanakama's view.
Well, we learned also that Tanis, the pattern in which the rainfall happens is very unpredictable. Right. So
Right.
I would think the opinion of Yossi would be more relevant to time, not so much when or if it happens.
I mean the expected time.
Yeah.
Right. Well, the Gemara answers that. Well, first of all, if it's according to Reb Zera, according to one pshat, if he says Ada Geshem, then it's only until the expected time of the rain. So even according to the Tanakama, Reb Shimon ben Gamliel's words are not significant. Why does it have to rain for 7 days to be able to tell me the expected time of the rain. I don't need the rain to get the expected time of the rain. The expected time of the rain is the expected time of the rain. It doesn't have to rain for 7 days to get both rains out of that. So the Gemara answers to this question. It says, "Hu damar ad geshamim." We had two ways. We had Reb Zeiros telling me that ad geshamim is a machlokes, and then it would fit with the Tanakama. And then there's ad geshem, which it won't fit with anyone. So Reb Shimon ben Gamliel was talking about when he said ad geshamim, and according to the view of the Tanakama, which was not their view, then there would be a difference between if it actually rained or if it was just the expected time of rain. Okay. According to that other pshat, how that we're talking about the first rain. We had a kasha on Reb Zera. What are you telling me? That it's until the first rain? If he says Ad Geshem, it's not until the first rain. We have over here the significance of the second rain. Or else, what's the significance of the second rain? So the Gemara would answer that, no, it's because he said Ad Geshamim, where Ad Geshamim, everyone would say that it's the second rain. That would be the answer to it. There's two ways of reading this Gemara. Okay. Yeah, sort of like, they have all these names for the different clouds, the stratus and alta stratus and this and column nimbus and so what's the significance of each one of those? They made names for clouds, but
It would be interesting to know if the Yuchomi has the same kind of discussion of the definiteness of weather.
in the difference between Geshem or Geshamim.
In the Yuchomi in Israel is in Babel.
I don't know.
I remember when I lived in Israel, I was having some work done, and the workers took my stuff and put it out on the merpeset in summer on the balcony. And I said, "Well, what if it rains?" They said, "It's not going to. It's not time yet."
Right.
Like it was a law.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
Get me checkbook.
Okay, so if someone says you have to be home by dinner time, is that when dinner is actually served? You have to be in your seat. 6
You can
o'clock.
say your mother. Say when your mother
Okay.
told you to be.
Your mother told you to be home at dinner. You're not sure when she's going to put it on the table, but you better be there when the restaurant opens.
We said that if there's something that has a set time, then if you say until or by, that means you have to be there at the set time. If you say when, then it would be when it's over. Ad shiyu, until it is. Until it is. You have to be home when dinner is, then it could be until the end of dinner. Yeah.
Something like that.
Okay. And the Mishnah says, Kainam yayin she'eni tayem l'shana. He takes a vow, he's not going to drink wine. No, the Ran says he's not going to drink wine this year. Hashana, this year. Yeah, it's supposed to be Hashana. Yeah, that's how the Rush has it, and that's how the Ran is explaining it. The Ran originally says that if he says Shana Achas, I'm not going to drink wine for 1 year, then this is not going to apply, what we're about to say. Nisabra Shana says, I'm not going to drink wine this year, but then the year became a leap year, and it's Asrba B'Ibura, then he can't have wine even for the leaf month, even for the extra month. Now, the Rashba says that we're talking about when he's taking the vow on Rosh Hashanah. But if he would be in the middle of the year, then he would only have until Rosh Hashanah. Doesn't matter. So it won't be 13 months. And the Ran argues on that. We're not talking about that he's taking a vow on Rosh Hashanah. He says that's a huge teichik to say that that's what we're talking about, that he's only one possible day when this whole Mishnah applies. And then there's another discussion here regarding if a person can make up things that he took a vow for a year that he's going to do, does he still have the obligation after the year? So if someone takes a vow he's going to learn a Masechta this year, but he doesn't do it, so he violates not postponing the rule of do not postpone a vow. But does the vow still apply? He's just supposed to do it later, or is it off? That's a good question. It comes out of this discussion. Yeah, the question.
Yeah.
Okay. And the Ran on the bottom over here, at the bottom of the page, says that if he neglects, he does not have any way of making it up. He says he explained this before when we had a discussion at the beginning of the Masechta about if there's such a thing as Bal Ta'acher by Naziris. Yeah, okay, anyway. Let's say he says Ad Reish Adar, till the beginning of Adar. So what does he mean? Just throwing us into Masechta Megillah. What is Adar? Is Adar Adar Rishon or is Adar Adar Sheni? Ad Reish Adar. So it says Ad Reish Adar Rishon. That's referring to the beginning of Adar means the first month, the first Adar, before Adar starts. That's the Adar that's closer to Shvat. Ad Seif Adar until the end of Adar. Ad Seif Adar Rishon, that's until the end of Adar, the first Adar. Again, Adar that's closer to Shvat. According to the Mishnah, Adar Stam means Adar Rishon. However, there is a little star on the side, an asterisk, takes you to the side of Maseres Shas. Says that if he says until the end of Adar, it's Ad Seif Adar Sheni. Well, the second Adar, I don't know which one your English translation chose. The first Adar or the second Adar? First Adar. Okay. It's going to fit better if we say the first Adar. Well, the second one also works, but the first one is better. Okay. Alma, we see from the Mishnah, Stama the Adar, the Ka'ama Rishonu. When he says Adar, what does he mean? The first Adar or the second Adar?
Probably the first.
So it says probably the first, because in our Mishnah, when he took a vow until Adar, and he didn't say which Adar, he just said the beginning of Adar. Which one was that? He said it was the first. When he said the end of Adar, which one was that? He said it was the first.
Well, at this time, you may not have known if there was going to be a second Adar.
Okay. Okay.
Didn't have known.
Okay. Lema Masnisa, very good. Lema Masnisa and Rabbi Yehuda. Let's say that the Mishnah is Rabbi Yehuda, the Tanya, because we'll start in a Brisa, Adar Rishon. Comes to the first Adar. What should he write? Kaisav Adar Rishon. He has to write Adar Rishon. Adar Sheni. The second Adar, what does he write? Kaisav Adar Stam. He just writes plain Adar.
Very good.
So they just declare second Adar like sort of last minute, like they see like.
That could be. That could be. It could be they have it. Could be they have it before as well. But the first opinion, Divrei Reb Meir's view is that when you're writing a document for Adar, if it's the first Adar, according to Reb Meir, you have to write the first Adar. If it's the second Adar, then you just write Adar.
If there is no second Adar,
You just
say
write
Adar.
Adar. But if there are two,
If
which
there's two,
one?
yeah.
Which one gets the modifier? According to Reb Meir, the first one gets the modifier. According to Rabbi Yehuda, Aimer, Adar Rishon Kaisav Stam. No, the first one is the plain Adar. That fits with our Mishnah. Adar Sheni Kaisav Tainin. The second Adar, you have to write the second. Which one is the main one? Machlekes between Reb Meir and Rabbi Yehuda. So, Amar Abaya, it seems like our Mishnah is the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. We don't really like when that happens because we like that the Stam Mishnah is Reb Meir. If Rebbe wanted to say that it was Rabbi Yehuda, he would have said Rabbi Yehuda. If he left it blank, then it should be Reb Meir. Amar Abaya Filatemer Reb Meir. Abaya says it could really be Reb Meir. Hadi yada de mabrashata, hada la yada. Depends if he knew. if the person knew, so then when he doesn't know that it was a leap year, then the first Adar is going to be the Adar Stam. But when he does know that it's a leap year, then the plain Adar without the modifier would be the second one. So in other words, when we said that Reb Meir says the plain Adar without a modifier is the second Adar, that's because he knew about the second one. Otherwise, we would say the plain Adar is the first one, because that's what he was thinking. Right? He didn't know about it. But Tanya, we have a brisa that supports this. Someone says Adar Shchedesh Adar. Takes a vow until Rosh Chodesh Adar. Well, that means Adar Shchedesh Adar Rishon until the first Adar. But if it's a leap year, then what he means is Adar Shchedesh Adar Sheni. Then it's until the second one. Now the Gemara clearly has a problem with the brisa like this. It says Mechlal Dereisha Lavmu B'Muberes Askinan. How did you just get away with saying that? So the first Adar, someone says until Adar. We say, okay, that's until Rosh Chodesh Adar Rishon. But if it's a leap year, then it's until Rosh Chodesh Adar Sheni. So what were you talking about in the beginning when you said that it was until Rosh Chodesh Adar Rishon, when it wasn't a leap year? When there was only one Adar anyway? That obviously that was also a leap year. So how do you say that it goes after the first Adar, and then you tell me, but in a leap year, it's the second Adar? If the first case was also a leap year, and you said it was the first Adar. Yeah, it was a great critical reading of the brisa. So, Gemara says, Shema Mina, obviously what we're dealing with here is two cases of the brisa are not dealing with is it a leap year or not a leap year. We're dealing with this one is when he knew that it was going to be a leap year, and this is when he didn't know. It's when in the second case it says if it was a leap year, then it's the second Adar. Okay, you're right. If he knew about it, then it's the second Adar. The first case of the brisa was also a leap year, but he just didn't know, so it means the first Adar. This would work. Okay. The Ran says, Linyan halacha, when there's a machlekes Reb Meir and Rabbi Yehuda, we paskin like Rabbi Yehuda. So therefore, Adar Rishon is the Stam Adar. And someone that's in the second Adar, and he writes Adar, and he doesn't write second Adar, he doesn't write Adar Sheni, then his document is invalid because it's a predated document, which creates a problem for the purchasers and all of that, all of those complications. So in Adar Sheni, you have to write Adar Sheni, and in Adar Rishon, you just write Adar Stam. Whether it's a get, whether it's another document, that's how the Ran Paskin said. Is that the halach? No, but when it comes to Adar, what's the halacha? Do we say Adar Rishon or Adar Sheni? Not Adar. Do we say Adar Rishon or Adar Stam? In Adar Sheni, we're going to say Adar Sheni, right? Yeah, so it's fair.
Well, it's like movie sequels. Like the original's not called like Finding Nemo 1 or something like that. It's going to be like, it's just the first one. And they have they put the numbers
with the sword. This guy finds a sword. It says on it, World War I.
No,
he takes it to the shop.
Oh.
They said it's a fake.
Yeah, they called it.
Okay. The Ran says that it doesn't. It says you took the vow only for that time. Karavani Laimar. It appears to me. That's what Karavani Laimar. It means he's comfortable saying that it doesn't apply. But it seems that there's a machlekes about this. Okay. Now we have a Mishnah. New Mishnah. This Mishnah takes us till the end of the parak. Rabbi Yehuda Aimer. Rabbi Yehuda says, "Kainim yayin sheini tayim ad sheyeh Pesach." Person says, no Gemara on this. It's just the Mishnah. The person says, "I'm not going to drink wine until it becomes Pesach." Now we've learned before until it becomes, or till it is Pesach, that includes Pesach. That's what we learned before. Rabbi Yehuda says that's here we know from context, we can make a safe assumption that he didn't mean to forbid wine the whole Pesach. He only meant to forbid wine until the normal time of people drinking wine, which is Seder night. That's when all the big the wine sales before Pesach are just not on sale. That's when the sales are. They make the sale. Okay. He says, I'm not going to eat meat until it becomes the fast day. Now, fast day would be Yom Kippur, but is he including Yom Kippur? Or is it not? He probably means until Erev Yom Kippur, until the fast. He didn't mean until the fast is over. He meant until before the fast. It's a bigger chiddush than before. Before we said until Pesach, we said it doesn't mean until the end of Pesach. It means till the beginning of Pesach. Here we say until the fast. And it doesn't only mean until the fast is over. It doesn't only mean until the beginning of the fast, but it means even before the fast he's allowed to. That's already considered the fast until it becomes the fast. Because we're going to say that that's what he meant. So clear that that's what he meant, even though he didn't say that. We're going to assume that that's what he meant. We're going to interpret his saying. We're going to interpret what he says, that that's what it means. Rabbi Yossi ben Yomer, "Kainem shum shani tayim ad shetei Shabbos ein aser elal ad lad Shabbos leinas kamen zel shosha shederach nedem lachol b'shum." It wasn't an institution made by Ezra to eat garlic on Friday night. So if someone takes a vow that he's not going to eat garlic until it becomes Shabbos, until it is Shabbos. Now, usually that means until Shabbos is over. We said ad sheyehei means until it's finished. Ad sheyetzeh. Ad sheyagia means until before, until it becomes, until it reaches. Ad sheyehei means until it's over. But Rabbi Yossi, the son of Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yehuda says that since there's an institution, a rabbinic institution by Ezra, it says that you're supposed to eat garlic. So just like before we said when there was a biblical law to have wine, is that a biblical law to have wine on the Seder? It's a rabbinic law. There's a clear derabanan to have wine by the Seder. And then there's another mitzvah to eat on before the fast. That those we interpreted his vow to fit with those halachas. So over here also, this Rabbi Yossi ben Rabbi Yehuda, he says that but the Takanas Ezra will also say that the halacha will help us interpret what he means, and he means only until Friday night.
Is there a comment about why Ezra made this comment?
It's not brought about over here, but where did we learn this? We learned this, I think, in we had it before actually Shum, but it's in Baba Kama and Meruba by the 10 things of
I
Ezra.
don't call any either.
Right, it increases the sperm, increases the love. Yeah. It says cooked garlic or raw
Is that
garlic?
like the
Cooked garlic? I don't need to see it. I don't want any more children.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. Who went to Harvard? Which one? Oh. He's older than he's younger. Oh wow. So he went from Yeshiva Spring Valley to Harvard.
Don't regret,
Even
sir.
better than that,
No
he went
regrets,
from
sir.
Cheder Chabad to Harvard,
Oh
No
really?
regrets,
Cheder
no
Chabad
regrets.
in Muncie or in Morristown?
No
Wow.
regrets. No
which was
regrets.
not as good as the one in Muncie.
Wow.
No regrets.
Okay.
I don't crack that.
What was that? Georgetown. Okay. Miami-Dade. Someone tells his friend, "Kainam shani nenalach." I will not have benefit from you. He says, you need to take this gift for your son. 1 car of wheat and 2 barrels of wine. You need to take this. If you don't take it, I'm never having benefit from you. Our friendship is over. You have to take this gift. He can annul his vow without even going to the sage. And he could just say, the fellow that he took the vow from, that he said that Reuven takes the vow from Shimon. Shimon was supposed to take the gift for his son. He doesn't want to take it. So Shimon can tell Reuven, look, you wanted me to take the gift. Why did you want me to take the gift? Because you wanted to honor me. So it's bigger honor for me if I don't take the gift. So consider it like you've honored me. It's a bigger honor by not taking the gift, and therefore the vow is annulled. It says the opposite. It says you can't have benefit from me. Not I won't have benefit from you. You can't have benefit from me. If you don't give a gift to my son, I'm expecting a gift from you. You didn't give a gift, you can't have any benefit from it. Well, Rav Meir says, well, that's a real vow. He has to give the gift if he wants to have benefit. You can also get out of this vow without going to the sage. Can say, consider it accepted. He doesn't have to annul the vow. You can just say, it's as if I got it. And that's good enough. It's like Mechila. Mechila doesn't need a kinyan. You can just say, I got it. It's considered done. If they were nudging him to marry his niece, he's allowed to marry his niece, right? An uncle can marry the niece, the daughter of his sister. And he says, says, I'm never gonna, she's never gonna give me benefit. No, she will never have benefit from me. She will never have benefit from me. In another case, someone that's divorcing his wife. She'll never have benefit from me. They can still give them benefit. He can still give his ex benefit, and he can also give his niece benefit, even though he said that he's not going to. Why? He didn't mean that he's not going to give her a drink of water, he's not going to give her something to eat. He meant he wasn't going to marry her. In the context, he was referring to marriage. He wasn't referring to a plate of food. Let's say a person was nudging his friend. What do they translate? Urging his friend that he should come to his house for a meal. Says, I'm forbidden from entering your house. I'm forbidden from drinking a drop of cold water. He's actually allowed to go into the house and he's allowed to drink the cold water. He didn't want to have the meal. The guy was urging him to have the meal and he was refusing the meal. So he made that statement, but he didn't actually mean cold water. He just meant I'm not going to eat anything by your meal. But for other things, in other words, we can interpret it. We can safely interpret that that's not what he meant based on the context of when it was said. Okay, let's leave it here.